Hello, and welcome to the Senior Tuber Incentive, where this is a podcast for mature creators to start or grow your YouTube channel. So if you're somebody who already has a channel for business or personal use and you want to help make it a little bit better, let it be seen a little bit more, then this is a place for you. But if you just have this fantasy about having a YouTube channel and you don't even know what it is, guess what? This is a place for you too. So thank you for being here. My name is Fran Asaro, and I am the founder of the Senior Tuber community, and I'm so glad that you're here. We have a lot to talk about today. First of all, we have our Teach One, Learn One moment coming up in a little bit, and that's going to be the beginning of our optimization conversation, how to optimize your channel. So stay tuned. That's going to be coming up in just a minute. And we're also having our Senior Tuber Showcase at the end of this conversation, which I'm really excited about, because the reason why I'm doing this is I have a group of Senior Tuber creators. It's a private group. We meet once a week, and I am using this opportunity to promote them, why they're here, why they became senior tubers or YouTube creators in the first place, and how doing that changed everything for them. Some people don't even have a channel yet, but they're still in the Senior Tuber creator community. So I hope you stick around, because it's not just to promote other senior tubers, but it's here to inspire potential new creators. So if you're looking to see how somebody else's path might resonate with you and say, okay, you know what? That person didn't even know it was called a channel, and look where they are. Or that person was doing it all for years, but wasn't getting themselves out to be seen by the world. I want to know what she did. So stick around for every week. Some people will be the right person for you to be listening to. And I hope that today is it. Today, I'm going to be interviewing my dear friend, Debra, and I can't wait for you to meet her. But in the meantime, we're going to get started with a conversation I wanted to have with you. Actually, I had it with my private group yesterday, and I thought, what a good way to start with you today. When we're getting older, some of these things come up. It may not be true for you, but if it is, this might help. Some of us have some of these conversations going on, like, what now? Okay, I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70. We have people almost 80 years old in our group, right? And what's next? I'm either alone, or I'm feeling unfulfilled, or I don't know what to do with the rest of my life. And sometimes we're doing things out of obligation, but really, why not make this the time that we're having some fun and expressing our creativity and doing something that really makes a difference for ourselves and for the world, right? So if that's you, like if you're having some of that go on, like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Or how am I going to earn extra money when I need to supplement my income? All those things are regular conversations that help me create this community, the Senior Tuber community, to be able to offer support. But there's one thing I want to make sure of, is that, do you have something that gets you out of bed every day? And that was our conversation yesterday. So I'm bringing it in today to ask you to get connected to that. Now, sometimes you'll hear that as like, what's your why, right? What's your reason? But what gets you out of bed? Now, I mentioned that I was somebody who used to get out of bed, jumped out of bed, most people didn't like me in the morning because I didn't need coffee. I still don't. But I would just jump out of the bed, fling open the curtains and say, good morning, world. And, I love that feeling. And guess what? Something changed. And I don't know what it was, but I don't necessarily get out of bed like that. It takes me a few minutes to get there. But one of the things that gets me there is this. Doing this gets me out of bed, knowing that I'm going to be here to help you, to stimulate me, to be accountable to you. And I hate that word, accountable, but to be there for you and for myself, that I'm a stand for mature people to have an expression and a community and a place to land all their gifts and their talents and their legacies, right? That is like something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And I don't feel like this is a job at all. I feel like this is one of my gifts that I want to give to the world. And it's something that is part of my heart to give to you. And I want to give it in a way that I'm here because I want to be, not because I have to be. Even though I may be monetizing in some ways because I do need to, but I want to work like I want to, not like I need to. And you'll hear me bring that up a lot because as mature creators, we want to work like we want to, not like we need to. And we also want to work age appropriately. We're not 20, we're whatever age we are now, and we want to work that way. Nice pace, so we could still enjoy our lives. We could be coming from a place of fun, like a hobby, but you might monetize it as well. So if you liked gardening, maybe that's a channel you would have if you do like gardening. But if it wasn't, it could still be whatever it is you're doing your YouTube channel for. That could be like a hobby that you actually make money from. What is the niche that you've chosen? If you've chosen a niche after watching this or just recently and you want to share it with us, then put it in the comments section. I'm not going live yet on my podcast, so this is the best I could do to stay connected to you, is to hear your comments. And I promise you, once I get some of the things ironed out with creating the Senior Tuber community, I'm going to do more lives. I don't know what it'll look like, whether it'll be the podcast or it'll be just live classes or whatever. But I want to make sure that you know I am going to be here. But in the meantime, stay connected by either joining the Senior Tuber community, which the link will be in the description, or just commenting here so that I can feel like I know you and help you. Okay? So let's get back to your why. What is the reason that you can get out of bed? Like, let's say you had an idea, you're really good at something, and you might want to share it with the world, but it doesn't really light you up. You can't see yourself doing it for more than a couple of videos. That's probably not the thing for you. So maybe you want to see what's out there that really inspires you. Do you have a guilty pleasure that you want to talk about? Do you have something that you've never really gotten to share with anybody, and you want to do that now? And maybe you want to create from scratch and just start looking. If you sign up for my newsletter, you get 194 niche ideas. If you want, you can do that and see if there's a niche that fits you that you haven't even thought of yet. And that's sort of like to help stimulate you. I had no clue about Senior Tuber till I took my academy to learn how to be a better YouTube creator. And that's when it hit me that I was all over the place and I wasn't really doing anything that I was passionate about. I would just throw things out there because I like making videos. I didn't love what I was putting out there. And so that's what I want to suggest. Imagine if you were getting out of bed in the morning, you say, you know what? This is another day I get to do whatever it is, and that you feel good about it. This is another day when I get to touch somebody's life, or I get to entertain somebody, or I get to give somebody an education about things I've been learning my entire life, and now I get to share it. So for instance, I'm a lifelong learner, and I love to learn about nutrition and certain things about how to take care of myself, mind, body, and spirit. I could probably have a channel just talking about it, even though I'm not an expert. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to be somebody who provides information, passion, inspiration to somebody who needs to hear what you want to share, right? To be honest with you, you could be just a year into your education and teach somebody, and that would be more than most people know, right? So I know more about YouTube than maybe a few of you, and there are a lot of people who know a lot more than me. So I have this channel for the people who need to know what I know. At some point, you may need to find more information, or maybe I'm coming too fast and you need to go to somebody who's at a different pace. So there's something for you like that. Why don't you start thinking about that? And in a few minutes, we'll give you your momentum lesson to sort of keep you thinking about this for this week until the next podcast, okay? Again, here's some things to think about when you want to wake up in the morning and what do you want to be passionate about. Like I said, I don't always wake up that way anymore. And that doesn't mean I'm not committed to waking up that way. What do? First thing I do if I wake up, so sometimes I wake up like either I had a bad dream or something went on while I was sleeping that has me wake up with maybe a little bit of fear, a little bit of despair, or just not completely passionate. And, I'm committed to being passionate and fully alive and happy and being able to touch people's lives, right? So I have to put myself there if I don't wake up that way. And what that might look like is moving my body, drinking a lot of water, definitely saying this is going to be my best day ever, and opening up the drapes and thanking, God for what I get to have every day of my life, where I live and what I get to do. sometimes I have to connect myself to all my gratitudes and all my gifts and be willing to have that shift and committed to having it. So it's sort of like love. Did you ever hear that like love could be an emotion or it could be an action? Because some points you don't really feel the emotion of love, but you could choose it. And then you could choose to love the people in your life who normally you can lose some of that feeling with, right? The same thing when you wake up in the morning and you don't feel your full sense of self and you don't feel your full sense of purpose, you can choose to. And you can have a decision to be deliberate about it and say, you know what? Today I'm going to be fully engaged in who I want to be for the world. And that takes something. It takes a little bit of an exercise for you. Maybe we'll talk about that more during another podcast. But this was really sort of like to pique you so that you have something to think about this week. What is it that keeps me excited? And if there's nothing yet, guess what? Your homework assignment would be to go find something that really lights you up. And you don't even have to be willing to do that thing that lights you up. Let's say it's something that totally scares the heck out of you, but you're excited about it. What I want you to do is connect to the excitement and say, okay, maybe it's not that, because I don't think I have the nerve to do that, but I want to feel that way. And if you're committed to that feeling, then other opportunities or other ideas may come to you that would give you that same feeling. Are you willing to try it? I hope so. Okay, I want to jump into the teach one, learn one portion of today's call. And today we're talking about optimization. I want to talk about optimization every day, okay? Just so you know. But I've been known to overwhelm people with all the information that I have. And one of the reasons I want to do the Senior Tuber is because, like some of the other YouTube creators out there who want to give you information to help you be really great, if I come at you too strong, I wanted to come at you at a pace that might be more comfortable for you. If you get a piece of today, it'll give you a few steps to make for the week if you want to do it, or for the next few weeks, and hopefully not overwhelm you. That's my commitment, is to not overwhelm you. But some of you will still be overwhelmed. Some of you say, give me more, I need it. You didn't give me enough to be working on. I've already done those things. And others will say, that's way too much and my head is bursting. And either way, we're going to catch up to where everybody has the same information that I share with all my clients and that I practice myself. But we have to start somewhere. And one of the things I want to do after I get the Senior Tuber, all my plans, I have a list this long about everything I want to offer you, from classes to free calls to, just being able to call me with some questions. It's all coming into the pipeline, but I had to get on this podcast first to at least let you know that this community exists. And then eventually we're going to have a place where we can meet each other and some optimization focused conversations. So I might do something like a weekly call on just optimizations. That's a goal for me. And that each week we go through several of the optimization I call them best practices, so that you can set up your channel and your videos properly. Until then, this is what I have to offer. Let's see what we can do today, okay? So one of the things I want you to know is that optimizing your channel. Why is it important to optimize your channel? To put it very simply, so that you could have the best opportunity to be seen, all right? And for your people to find you. And that's what I want for you, because if you have something good you want to share with the world and nobody's seeing it, then that is the thing. That's the downfall, right? And that's one of the reasons I have that conversation with Debra in a little bit. And you'll hear about it, that she's amazing. And there were people who didn't know about her because she wasn't getting herself out there. And that's what I want for you. If you're going to be doing something, you're going to be sharing your gifts, your talents, your legacy, then I want you to have the best opportunity to be seen, to be found. And to be found, that means you have to optimize your channel for the people to find you. And that's what we're going to talk about. And the other thing is, there are two ways to optimize your YouTube channel. One is the channel itself. And the other is the video. Each individual video needs to get optimized. Now, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds like too much work. That's why I always talk about TubeBuddy, because TubeBuddy helps you automate your optimization. They even have the whole thing to they check you for your best practices, and they let you know what you did and didn't do. It's fantastic. So I'm going to talk about TubeBuddy all the time because you can even have a free version. It is definitely the first step for a newbie or anybody who has never optimized their channel, even if you've been doing it for years. There was somebody a couple of months ago who said, I don't need TubeBuddy. I don't need any of that. Just tell me what to do. But when I told her about it, she went and got the whole package because she saw the value for her and her clients and her team, right? You don't know that yet. All you know is that I'm telling you about TubeBuddy. You don't know what it does. So I recommend you just go and get the free version. But if you want to, I have a 50% off discount code if you do want it, because they give you anybody who has 1,000 subscribers or less, or under 1,000 subscribers, let's say that, there's an opportunity to save 50% for the year. And it's really like, I don't want to say a price in case this is old, but as of today, it's under $30 for the year if you have less than 1,000 subscribers. Okay. The first thing I want to talk about optimizing is your channel. I want you to start becoming familiar with the back of your channel. And what you're going to do is you're going to go into your YouTube channel, and where it's got your picture on the right-hand side, you're going to click on that, and there's going to be a drop-down menu that's going to say your channel, YouTube, and a bunch of other things. But I think the third thing is going to be YouTube Studio. I want you to click on that. And I want you to go over to the left column where you have some of your optimization opportunities. Let's just say that. One of them is for your customization link, and the other one is for your settings link. So I would recommend the very first thing you do is go into your customization link. And that is where you're going to have the opportunity to add in your page, your channel header, your banner, and your links, and your name of your channel, and it's going to get people to know you. Your channel will start taking form. We're going to go into that in more detail, but I want you to get familiar with your own channel. Many people are completely intimidated by what I call the back office of anything that they do. You know, I've worked for a lot of companies, my clients' companies, and I've had to go into the back office to find out what's going on back there. And I find out that many people don't even want to go back there. It's just too much information. And that's why we're going to try to take it one step at a time. So one of the things I'm going to recommend is that you just get familiar with those two tabs, customization and settings tabs. We're going to go over it in detail as we go along. But first of all, go into your customization and add in your banner art and your links. And those two things will help you get started, right? And then the name of your channel. All right, you willing to do that? All right, next, we're going to talk about the most important thing for when you're creating your videos. With TubeBuddy, you're going to be able to optimize your channel much easier, and you can automate it. Right now, we're just going to learn a couple of things that are really important, the most important parts to optimizing your channel. And I will tell you, this is a big issue because some people resist this. For instance, the first thing you want to optimize is your thumbnail. And what that means is when people are scrolling, when you're scrolling YouTube, you look at the visual first. What did it say that made you read the title, and what made you click, right? Those thumbnails have got to be engaging. So the first thing you want to do is create something with contrasting colors, black and white, purple and yellow, red, white, and blue, something that is contrasting. And you might have your own brand colors. Hopefully they have contrast in them. So you want it to be that. And then you want to have very bold lettering. And the bold lettering is got to be very short. If your title is 10 or 15 words long, do not put that in there. Do not put things that people would not be searching for. You don't need to put your name. You don't need to put all the details. You can put 2 short words. So if you have I have, several videos that have these very long titles in it, like how to put a bullet into a sentence in in a Word document, right? Can't put all that. So I put add a bullet to your Word document, just something very short. And that's even too long. But that's one of my highest producing videos because it's just very quick. They get to see what it is. And that's it. You add a picture and you add your very short title, and contrast. Those are the things I want to say. And make it clean and make it spaced out well, so that if you don't put a small picture of you, put a big picture of you or somebody else. It does not have to be your picture, but it should be a little animated. For instance, if you made a video, and let's say I'm making a video now, and all of a sudden my hands are up and I'm doing something dramatic, I could actually take this screenshot and save it and make it into a thumbnail later on. I could take out the background, or I could leave the background. I prefer to take out the background so that you've got me doing this. I put a nice bold contrasting background on there, and then I put my very bold lettering. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go and look at, pull up a search like gardening. Okay, let's go back to gardening. Gardening for beginners. I have no idea what you'll find, but go out and look at it. And as you pull that up, take a look at the ones you might look at, right? And why do you want to go to them? Because the first thing is the visual, right? What made you choose it? Was it the words? Was it the color? And see what that is. And then start to do that similar thing. You willing to do that? It's going to be fun when you get to do it. And there is a program out there that'll help you make graphics pretty simply, and really great program called Canva. If you're not already using it, I'm going to put the link down below. And get started creating incredible graphics for your thumbnails. It's a great investment. There is a free version, but it's a great investment because it has so many things, from thumbnail creators to great fonts, a lot of pictures that you can choose from. They even have videos you could choose from, but you're not going to use that in your thumbnail. So take a look at Canva and see if that works for you. All right. Now, after they see your thumbnail and it looks great, there you are. There's your short title. There's your contrast. Let's say it's gardening for beginners. There's still one other reason why they would click, and I've mentioned it already. The title. So then they see this short thing and they go, okay, that might say gardening for beginners. Okay. And then the next one, it could be how to buy soil, or it could be how to pick the right soil for your first garden, or how to choose what to grow in your first garden. It could be something like that. It's got to be something that people are searching for. It's better if you say something that they're looking for than anything personal, names, because they might not be caring about you. Like I notice people that put videos of long videos, hour-long videos that say the date and the time and the name of the video, like it's been a house meeting on this date, and nobody really knows what that is. And there's no reason for them to click. If they're not searching for today's date and a house meeting, they're just not searching for that. But if you talk about the content of that video instead of the description of it, it's going to make a big difference. So let's say in that house meeting, you talk about the 10 rules for setting a curfew. Now that's the content of the video. Somebody is out there looking for how to set a curfew for your kids, right? So that would be something you would want to put in there. Same thing with gardening. You don't want to talk about things they're not searching for. You want to talk about things they are looking for. How do I start? For a beginner, once they see that it's for beginners, they want to know the next line should be leading in. The title should be leading them into what's next, right? And that would be clicking on it, watching the video, looking at the description. There's a whole series of how we unfold when it comes to a YouTube video, but we don't even know it. So if you saw me jump, it's because it was just lightning, okay? That must be true, right? It must be true what I just said. Well, I think it is anyway, whether it lightning and thundered out or not. So that's another thing. Now, if you're using TubeBuddy, there is a thumbnail creator and a title generator, AI. So it helps you. You can put in your title that you're interested in, and then you can use their title generator, and they can give you about 10 ideas and see if one of those is better than the one you thought of. Okay? So those are the two I want to talk about now. The other thing is when you hover over a video, that it starts to play a little bit, plays some part in whether you're going to click or not. But not everybody hovers over it. And we don't know the weight that holds yet on how it changes people's choice. If it's the title, if it's the thumbnail or if it's the fact that they saw a little preview of the video. But if you can do this, that first few seconds of your video, when they hover, they're going to see it. And you might want to make it something dynamic, either something that you're doing that's fun, something that happens later on in the video, but you want to show them a piece of it, or some words that you want to put up and, to surprise them how we did this, or, what are we going to do now? And something that's intriguing. So that's what I want to start you off with, is start to think about being engaging. Now, some of this sounds like it's sensationalism, and not all of us are into that. Some of us are just teaching spiritual practices or, having a book club, and we just don't have that in us to use sensationalism. And some of the people out there are making millions of dollars using it. Well, guess what? This is a practice you can do at the level you're at. I mean, I'm not out there doing dancing and crazy stuff when I'm trying to bring people in, but I take what I'm telling, I take this information the same as what I'm telling you, and I try to make it at the level I am at. Okay. So maybe I have people who are teaching meditation, let's say. So maybe their thumbnails aren't that black, white, and red contrast. Maybe it's another series of colors that are contrasting that are more appropriate for them. Maybe they don't want their picture in it. They want a lotus flower. But that idea of having an image, the bold lettering, and the contrasting colors, it doesn't have to be outside of your comfort zone. Just try to keep those in practice, right? And the same thing with your title. You just want to make sure you're doing something that addresses a question that people could be searching for. Now, we're going to talk about keyword searches and how to know what to say. Eventually, we're going to get to that, so don't worry. But I'm trying to give you these baby steps in the meantime. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to go ahead and try to create a thumbnail, whether it's in your own graphic program, or you could try Canva, the free version. As I said, my link is down below if you did want to sign up for it. It's a great program, and it is so compatible with so many different things, and they have so much to offer you. So it's definitely worth a visit. And once you go in there and create a thumbnail, I don't care if you even have a video yet, but go in there and learn, because some people say you should actually create your thumbnail before you even create your video. And I did that once. It was kind of fun. It's not my practice yet, and I still haven't made up my mind whether it's something I want to adopt. But go ahead and try to create a thumbnail and then create a video that fits the thumbnail. All right, that could be fun too. And so try to go ahead and pick a title and a thumbnail this week and see how that works. So you have a couple of things that you want to do is that plus the channel. You're going to go in there and you're going to maybe do your channel art, put in your name, and even open up your channel if you want to, if you haven't done so already. Okay, so I like to give a resource portion of this podcast for those of you who have no clue where to go for things, and you probably want somebody to recommend things. Now, I am an affiliate for a lot of things that I recommend, but not for all of them. If I find something I like, I still recommend that if it's good for you. But this is pretty much what I do, and I want to teach you to do it as well. I want to teach you how to make money from affiliate marketing. I received just 4 checks this week on affiliate marketing, and it feels really cool. Even if it's like $100, it feels great, right? Wouldn't it be cool to have just $100 show up in your bank account this week? So I do that. And one of the things besides Canva that I want to recommend this week is Fiverr.com. And I'm going to put the link down below. And Fiverr.com is where you could have people do whatever you can't do for your YouTube videos, whether it's set up your channel, create your videos, edit your videos, create your thumbnails. So I don't want you to feel like because you can't do one thing and you want to get this done, if you want to have a channel, but your limitations are, you want to have a faceless channel or you don't know how to do this, go to Fiverr. There's plenty of places you can go, but Fiverr is one of those places where you can find everything all in one place. And what you do is you go there and say, okay, I need somebody who's going to create a thumbnail for me. And you look up thumbnail creating and see, you put in the price you want to pay. You also want to put in if it's okay, if they speak multiple languages, or if they have to speak English. So you would put that in there and you could set all the parameters of what you're looking for, how much you want to spend. and maybe look at some of them, look at some of their samples they have there, and then choose one and see how they work. And maybe you choose a couple to see who's better, compare 2 or 3 of them, and maybe spend $10 each to have a thumbnail created. But here's the thing. You could probably run an entire YouTube channel without ever showing up for a video or ever editing a video or ever creating a thumbnail by using, if you want to outsource. If you have a passion to do something and you don't have any of this tech stuff down yet, it's okay. I happen to like all aspects of it, except for editing. I'm not really good at it yet, but I plan to. I have editing programs that I use, which we'll talk about another time. But you can pay somebody to do it. And some of it is really inexpensive. Like I said, if you can get a thumbnail, and I don't know what you'll end up with, but it could be $10 or maybe more. I don't know how much it is, but that would be great. It would be really great to help you get that piece that's gnawing at you, saying, I would do this if I could just get somebody who'd do my creating for me. And then that eliminates that reason. And we keep moving forward and bringing you into being a better creator and a more successful creator. This podcast is here to help you optimize and monetize your channel, among other things. But first, we have to optimize it before we can monetize it. Because if nobody's going to see it, then it's hard to monetize a channel without an audience. All right. So that's why we're going to have this conversation first. So again, we have the momentum corner where I gave you a few homework assignments. But as far as the one about your why or your reason for getting out of bed, I have an assignment there too. And that is, you have one of 2 choices. Either listen for what, like I had mentioned earlier, listen for what it is that lights you up, will get you out of bed, creates a smile on your face, or exhilarates you, or you make you feel like, that would be a great fit for the rest of my life. That I would want to do that. Because you do want, you don't have to do this forever. You could try to be a YouTube creator and be it for a year or 5 years or 10 years, or you can plan that this is your thing. This is what you want to do for the rest of your life, which is what I feel. I think this is something that's sustainable for the rest of my life. I'm having so much fun. And the more I learn about it, the more I want to do it because I'm getting better at it. So if you want to take that leap and try to get a little bit better at it, that would be great because you never know what's going to happen at the other end. I have a client that I asked her to make some short videos, 1-minute videos, 3 to 5 a day, and just talk into it and then delete them. And she said she was never going to make videos. She did not like it. She didn't like herself on video. And that woman today is making videos left and right. I still check in with her every once in a while because it just makes me chuckle to know how much resistance goes into creators. And then when they find some of the solutions, when they find some of the things that make it easier for them, and then there they are posting and becoming creators for the world to see. That really touches me. And you probably have something in your world that you want to touch other people and you want them to say, man, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't do this. And that's the second thing I want to suggest. If you find something you want to do that gets you out of bed in the morning, here's an exercise you could do. Write a letter to yourself as if you had just viewed one of your videos, your best videos, and talk to yourself as if you would want that viewer to tell you what the experience was for them so that you know what they got from it. It also helps you get clarity on who you want to be for your audience. So what that sounds like would be if it was me and what I do with Senior Tuber. Dear Fran, I just watched your video about becoming a mature creator and having a community. I can't tell you how much that excites me because here I am all alone with no connections about creating videos. I have nobody in my world to talk to about it. I'm scared to death. And there you are saying you have a community and you have tips and tools and you're there and available for me. And I am so thrilled. And now I'm thinking about creating a channel and leaving my legacy on YouTube. And thank you so much. I can't wait till next week's podcast, right? Write a letter to yourself just like that would be about what you're going to be offering and get present to who you want to be for other people. You willing to do that? I think it would be a great exercise. I've done it myself and it blew my mind when I saw what I wrote. I filled a whole page up, typed page, just saying what I wanted somebody to say to me. It was really cool. So, and if you want to share your letter with me privately, then get in touch with me privately and send it to me. I would love to read it. Okay. All right. So now that we've done you've got some assignments to do this week, and I've kept you busy, right? You're going to be really busy. That's another thing. Are you planning on being a YouTube creator? And you might think you don't have enough time. It's okay. Because if you have an hour a day, an hour a week, or if you want to spend your whole life doing this from now on, you get to decide. Nobody's telling you what you have to do. This is a no obligation opportunity for you. And what we'll do, if you say, I only have 3 hours a week, like if you're communicating with me through the comments section and you say, I only have 3 hours a week, what are the best things I could do during that 3 hours? Then I can answer that, right? But at this point, I don't know what you're bumping up against. But whatever hours you have available, I promise you can make progress if you let me know how much you have and what you're trying to create, that we could try to figure something out. Okay. So now we're going to go over to the Senior Tuber Showcase, where my dear friend Debra is going to get to share what she does for the world and how her starting on YouTube made a huge difference for her. Now, she is going to mention a few things about her friend Fran being pushy. And, I didn't think of myself as pushy until she started bringing it up. And, I can't deny it. I can't, because I don't want to let people go hide behind their reasons for not doing things. And Debra had a reason why she didn't want to be on video. And what's your reason? And if you have an excuse and it doesn't feel valid, I'm going to be a little pushy, right? So if you say, I don't want to be on the camera, so then you have a video that doesn't have you on it. If you say, I don't know how to make a thumbnail, then I'm going to find the way you can have a video and not make your own thumbnail. If you say you have no camera, I'm going to be telling you to use your cell phone. So if that's pushy, I'm pushy, because I don't want you to hide behind your excuses if that's the thing. If you don't want to be a YouTube creator, doesn't interest you at all, that's okay. But if you have something inside of you and you're not honoring it because of these little teeny things that are easy to work through or beyond, then I'm going to be a little pushy. All right. So if you don't want me to help you through them, don't share them with me, because I want to help you through them. That's me. I'm a solution specialist. I'm going to find a way for you to be out there if you want me to. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Debra. This portion of this podcast was pre-recorded, so it is going to, have a little cut in it. And I hope you enjoy it. And please do me a favor and comment on this. I really want to know what you got out of this, if it helped, and how I can help you more. So let me know what I need to do to help you. I can't wait to meet you. So please join in wherever you can, whether it's the comments or the group, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Here's Debra. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we have Debra Graugnard on today, and she is my Senior Tuber Showcase guest for today. And Debra and I have been friends for 12 years, something like that, Debra. And I've been following her like a groupie for years, and we've just been having a good old time. As a matter of fact, I actually said, when we get on here, let's try not to be too professional. Right? Because we want you to have a good time. I'm really here to help. At our age, I'm really here to help people have a good time more than anything else. But I just want to share with Debra, the reason why I asked Debra to be here today is, first of all, she's one of my favorite people, but because she's up to so much, she is out there making a difference in the world. And when I started with the Senior Tuber, she jumped on, and I want you to hear what happened when she jumped on to being an active content creator on YouTube, because it's a wonderful story. But I also want her to tell you a little bit about what she does and who she does it for, because if you're interested, I'm going to put all her contact information in the description. And please feel free to contact her any way that she gives me to put in there, because she's somebody you want to know. She's somebody you want to have in your life and in your corner for sure. And so without further ado, I'm just going to invite you to enjoy my wonderful friend, Debra Graugnard. And I want you to tell your company and anything you want. I don't want to ask you a lot of questions as much as I want you to talk as much as you want for 10 minutes. No.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Fran. So, so, so just so you know what she said, ditto back to her. I've been a groupie of Fran's. I've been to all of her programs, all of her groups, all of her everything that she offers. I'm one of the first ones to jump on and really take advantage of everything that she has. And because she really does know how to like really help you dial in on who you are, what's important, what does it really mean, who are you talking to, like what's your core message? And she just helped me with that even, 5 minutes ago again. Really dialing in on that and pinpointing who are you talking to and why are you talking to them and why do they care? That is so important when we really have a message in us that we want to share, or we have some experience that we want to share with people. We have something we want to give to the world, to the people, and Fran is amazing at dialing in on that and helping you to dial in and really learn how to language it. And she's fun. And I told she's a little pushy, and
Yep.
I say that in all really in jest, because um she would say I have resistance, and I do. And if I may say, Fran, you might not want me to lead. All right, I'm going to come back to that because it's probably not the best. My resistance is probably not the best place to lead, right?
Oh,
But
now that you've left them on a cliffhanger,
I know I'm going to leave you on the cliffhanger, so you have to stay until the next
which is
chapter,
actually
but
a
next
thing to
paragraph.
do with YouTube. So they're learning now. But
Yeah,
you didn't
right.
plan it, but that's very good.
For your educational purposes, yes.
Yes.
Leave the on the next paragraph. You'll get that information about how she helped me to break through my resistance and actually get onto YouTube, and it's the growth I've seen since then. So, but let's see, Fran, you wanted me to tell people about what I'm doing on YouTube?
Your company name and what you've been doing for a long time and how you make a difference in the world.
Yes, and that core message. So, my company, so my business name is Joyfully Living Wellness, and I'm kind of in a transition phase into community for conscious living, because Joyfully Living Wellness is something I did when I was working in brick and mortar, and I was providing like massage and colon hydrotherapy and cleansing and holistic nutrition and healing work in a wellness center that offered just a whole variety of things. That was an amazing place to work, actually, and I really loved it. When I moved and transitioned into just working from house, I have a from anywhere kind of business now, right? Which is wonderful. It's enabled me to live with my dad, who's 100 years old, soon to be 101, and be able to be home with him while I'm doing my business. Part of my outreach, a big part of my outreach is through YouTube. And that's helped me to, to be able to have the life that I love and need to have right now, and still get my message out and do the things that I love and still be making a difference in the world. The difference and the reason I've gone from Joyfully Living Wellness to Community for Conscious Living is because my passion really is and has been all along, really recognizing that at the fundamental core of our beings, we want to live in peace and in harmony and in unconditional love, and we want to like live in sync with the planet and with all of nature. And this is what really gives us true fulfillment. And along the way to getting there, it's what helps us to heal and find out the truth of who we are and why we're here. Right. So I have this program now called Community for Conscious Living. I offer a weekly meditation and healing circle. It's like a group healing, it's a group meditation, and its purpose is to help us to do the inner work that we're here to do so that we can heal. Right? We heal our past pain and trauma. We heal our connection with our bodies and food and the earth. We learn to like, what is it that our beings really want to be and to do and to give and to have in this world? So we're living with intention and with purpose and with passion, right? And in the process, we're also unveiling our true spiritual essence of who we are. So it is a progression that really leads us to live more consciously so that we can live in peace and in harmony and have a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Because that is what we all really want. And with where our world is right now, it's in such disharmony and disarray that we need to be doing this work like on steroids right now, right? Because we're at a point of transition. And if we want to survive our own dysfunction, our dysfunction of our humanity that we've created here on the planet, then, we need to make the changes and we need to be the change, as Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world if we really want to evolve into the peace and the harmony. We have this tendency as separate from the world. And okay, the collective consciousness is changing, the world is changing, everything is shifting. We're going to be moving into this era of peace, and somehow it's all going to happen magically, and I'm just going to be whisked along, right? But as long as you've still like got attachment to your ego, you're going to be whisked along either like open and loving and like shepherding the transition and guiding the way, or you're going to be in your resistance, right? Which I already said that Fran and I know something about. So you're going to either be in your resistance with it and you're going to struggle, or you're going to be saying, yeah, I get it. And I'm going to do the work so that I can really be moving along with it and helping with the collective consciousness transition, right? So we are not separate. I said that to say we're not separate from the earth. We are the earth. So if we want the earth to transition, we need to, like, with our free will that we have, use our free will to shepherd that transition and be a part of conscious evolution.
That's really incredible. I mean, just for anybody who's listening, Debra is like an incredible leader. And I have recently been to, what was it, 9 months of a manifestation course. So for some of us who have that healing to do, and we also want to make a difference in the world, she provides an opportunity for us to grow ourselves in that area. And the manifesting course was like life-changing to me. And it really helped Senior Tuber be what you see it is today, which is not even done. I'm still manifesting from that course. So just so you know, that's who you are for me, is you're a leader in transformation for people. And you have so many ways that you offer people the opportunity for transformation. And I don't know if you want to talk about any of that, or you just want to send them where they could find out, or that's up to you.
Yeah. So right now you can go to joyfullylivingwellness.com or communityforconsciousliving.com. They both will get you, into doorways. But I'm trying to remember, did I say that? We have that weekly meditation and healing circle. That's really the first touch point, the first place to join. And it's free and it's live. And it's, it
Weekly.
goes on YouTube and it goes on in Facebook, and you can join by phone or computer. So you're really there live with us during the meditation and healing circle. At the end, I cut off the recording and then open for Q&A and discussion, which is often where the best nuggets come from. But for, privacy reasons, I don't record that part. I don't put that recording out. So please join us for that.
When is it?
It's on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. US Eastern Time, 7 a.m. US Pacific Time. So it's, for me, it kind of came of like, if I were to have a church, or if I were to go to a church, I was looking for where would I want to go, and I just couldn't find it. And so I said, well, I'm just going to start doing it and see what happens.
Yeah. And that's been how many years now?
Yeah, it's been a few years. It's
Yeah.
5 years, 6 years, maybe
Yeah.
7. I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah, so we do that every Sunday, and that becomes a part of my YouTube channel, a part of my podcast, part of my blog, and all of shared on my social media. But join us live, because when that recording goes off, that's where the nuggets come from, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Can I
and
jump in a second? Because what you're
yeah,
saying, I hope other people can know for themselves. You needed something from the world that the world didn't have for you. So what'd you do? You created the opportunity. And there are people out here who are starving for something and they don't know what to do. They can't find their community, or they can't
right.
find their path, but they feel it. They were born with this thing inside of them that they just want to share with the world. And you provide that pathway. right? Right. You have a pathway to consciousness. Is that what it's called? Or
Yes.
am I correct? And so that's the thing. This is an opportunity to create your future and not just jump on somebody else's bandwagon if it's not the right fit. So
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, you say a pathway to consciousness. So there are a lot of people out there talking about consciousness, expanded consciousness, like, um, and the consciousness that I'm talking about is an expanded consciousness, but not like up and out there, from within here. So it's very much tied to embodiment. And when we have presence and we are embodied, that's where we find our true empowerment. It's where we find the ability to really um, change our actions and our habits so that we are living well according to our beliefs and our state of being, but also according to our actions and our habits, so that we're living in harmony with the planet, not just in an expanded consciousness conceptual kind of way, but in a very grounded, embodied, internal, like interactive way with the planet. That's where the making a difference really comes from.
Right. And it
And it's
isn't always
important.
if you want to make a difference in the planet, but you might even want to make a difference in your family, or you might make a
Mm.
difference on a different level, right? That you want to make a difference in your music. If you have music that you want to put out there in the world and you want that to land with the world differently, you still have to
Right.
make sure here is in alignment, correct?
Yes, artists, writers, musicians, and and people who love animals and want to make a difference there. I've had all of these kinds of things, as well as people who just want personal healing because they really just want to like live aligned with their core true selves,
Yeah.
to be able to like know that they're not living in conflict with their own inner essence of who they are, which is what we all do.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to have that, we really do need to do that inner work first.
That's really great. I was just thinking while we're talking, I'm saying if I'm trying to get people who are out there who want to leave a legacy on YouTube, right?
Hmm.
And maybe
Hmm.
they're stuck somewhere. So I invite them to come here. But guess what? You can go to Debra's Sunday meditation. If you have something you want to give and you don't have clarity, you could come here, you can go there. We work together if you want. Not like literally together. We could go three of us, in a room together and help somebody brainstorm. But
Yeah.
the point is there are other people out there who want to contribute to the world, but they don't know how. Here's a way you can go by going to see Debra. And that's if you want to put it on YouTube, you'll hear her story about how she's on YouTube and how it's making a difference for her. But if it's you, then just so you know, you're in the right conversation right now if you've been toying with the idea of doing something bigger or better than what you're doing now.
Nice. Nice.
So tell me, what did you have any more that you wanted to share about what you do, or do you want to talk about what happened about a year ago?
Okay. Well, I'll just say that because I think I started on that pathway of, join us for the meditation and healing circle as your first step. If you, I, I have programs and more information, and the meditation healing circles themselves. There's kind of four basic areas that they touch into that are like the pathways to conscious living. They're all important and they all have interplay. And each one of us, we all have our individual paths that we walk in life, that is our life challenges that are eventually going to be our doorways back to our really finding ourselves. And so there's four basic areas that I cover in my programs, and one of them is healing past pain and trauma. Um, and so that's like, healing your stuff, your past, your pain, your trauma, your discontent, the things that keep you stuck and in pain. There's cultivating your connection with food, body, spirit, and earth. I call it the food, body, spirit connection, but it's cultivating that connection within yourself, because living at peace with our bodies, living at peace with our connection with food and nourishment and nurturing with food, and which is in turn Francis, I think it's Francis Moore Lepay who said that I'm going to butcher this, but that our most important connection with the earth is when we put food in our mouths. The earth, that's literally taking the food through our bodies, and that's like putting us into that ecosystem. So our connection with food and the earth, and it has such an incredible impact. Our relationship with food has incredible impact on the environment and uh, the climate. So food, body, earth, and spirit. And it's also, it's such a healing path. It's also what really puts us in connection with our spirit. So, sorry, heal past pain and trauma, cultivate your connection with food, earth, body, spirit, food, body, spirit, and earth. And as Fran already mentioned about your living with passion and purpose, with purpose and passion, and then awakening to your spiritual origin. So those are really the four pathways to living consciously, to living more consciously. And everyone affects everything else, but we all have our doorway that we're like wired to enter to find ourselves.
It hit me that me personally, and maybe other people out there, if you've been holding off on taking action because you got to get your life together first. Oh, I got to get organized. My life is not together. I can't make a difference in the world. And so I would sometimes, recluse and do all my work and take your classes. And this is an opportunity. If you've been saying that I got to wait till my life is in order, then now you have an opportunity to get your life in an order. Is this a community and a curriculum? What is this that you offer?
Yes, it's community. I have, the courses in each one of those four key areas. And, I just want to say something about that, get your life together first. Now, as long as we're in body, we're still working on that getting the life together. It's like, like they say, it's about the journey, not the destination. And that's one of the things that if you feel you're here to make a difference in the world, and it's true, we all have healing we need to do. And it's kind of like a left foot, right foot thing. It's not all left foot steps of getting your personal self in order, and then you can start taking right foot steps. It's take a step, get some of the personal work done, and then take a forward step with the right foot, like moving out into the world. And so it's like the state of being, the state of acting or doing, the being, the interpersonal work and the action, the interpersonal work and the action. And you'll find at each step along the way that, a nice little dance that you do to bring yourself into a harmony and flow but you don't have to be perfected before you can make a difference.
Yeah,
And I
I
think that's
love
really
that. I
important,
love that.
especially for YouTube, because when you're doing a YouTube channel, you're putting your face out there. Most of us, you don't have to put your face out there, but you're putting your heart out there. You're putting your passion and your sense of who you are and what you really care about and how you relate and connect with people. And that's what's so powerful about YouTube. And it's also what can be terrifying about YouTube, right? And that's why it's really important to know you don't have to be perfect first before you put yourself out there, because you're going to learn from every single one that you do. And eventually you're going to get used to those learning experiences and say, oh, but you know what? It wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I learned from it and I'm going to do better next time, maybe.
yeah.
Um, maybe you have that feeling, or maybe you feel like, yes, I nailed it. I hit it out of the park. But yeah, I just wanted to put it out there that you don't have to be perfect first.
That's perfect. As a Libra, I love that. It just felt so soothing to my body instead of it has to be this before it's that. I love hearing that you could do them both. Just balance it out, however you want to balance it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do you want to say? Do you want to talk about your journey for the past year? I want to say that again because that's one of the reasons I have you here. I have the privilege of watching you get excited every week and sharing things, and I don't want to take the words out of your mouth. I want you to speak about it, but I love watching your excitement and your milestones reach. So that's what I thought I wanted you to share too. Maybe as most people know, the Senior Tuber Showcase is so that the senior or mature creator gets to be promoted and gets to inspire other creators or wannabe creators. And that's what I would love for you to do is maybe you can talk about what happened to you, and that in alone will be what I was asking for.
I had just initially started a YouTube channel for grins and put a couple of things on there that as I think about them, I would probably be embarrassed about and want to go and take them down. I don't know if I will because it kind of shows how far you've come, right? But I had a few videos up there. I didn't promote them or share them anywhere. I didn't really do anything with it, just trickled a few things out there. And then in doing my meditation and healing circle, I've been doing it just by voice. So call into a conference line, and it was all by voice. And then I think it was Fran that talked me into, well, just put a pretty picture on the voice and make it into a video and put it out there on YouTube. So then I was like, well, okay, I can do that. So I started doing that and I started getting a couple of subscribers here and there, like, oh, look at that. And then a couple of views here and there. Like, what do you know? And then what did I say? She's pushy. Then she says, well, try just like turning on the camera. And I'm like, well, when I do meditation, I make all these faces and everything, and I don't want people seeing me making all these faces. And so finally I said, okay, well, I'll just turn on the camera while I'm doing it, and if it looks too bad, I'm not going to put it out there, right? And so I started doing that, and you know what, there hasn't been a single one yet that I decided not to put out. So since I've been doing it in front of camera, I've been putting them on YouTube. And I went from like, I think 30 subscribers to now I'm at 210 in a short period of time. And I haven't done and this is what I'm thinking about doing next, just put the request out of, hey, everybody, would you do me like, would you help support my channel and go and subscribe and check out some of my videos. And if you like it, put a like. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. But if you, no, I'm just kidding. But if you like it, put a like on it. And if you really love it, share it. I haven't done that part yet. And I want to do that. So this is kind of organic traffic that it's getting. Some of my videos are getting, hundreds of likes. I mean, hundreds of views and, getting likes. And so it's like, wow. And it's not even like just me and the like three people that I know watching and liking. So, that feels like a milestone right there. I mean,
Yeah.
and really to go um from there to, from like almost nothing, really, from almost nothing to 210, and it's been less than a year. It's been a pretty short period of time that
Yeah.
I joined your senior tuber group and have been really actively putting content out and sharing the content on social media and, and like, um, so it's really made a difference. And I do look forward to that day of getting 1,000 subscribers where I can really have that unlocks the key to other things on YouTube. So if you're here and you want to check out my YouTube channel, then, if, like I said, if you like what you see, if you want to help out, give subscribe and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Is it okay to ask for that, Fran?
Sure.
And then if you like what you see, give it a like. If you love it, share it. And we help each other in that way. That's the other thing about being part of the senior tuber community is that we do help each other that way. We can help each other that
Yeah.
way.
And we just talked about that last week in last week's podcast, how to support your fellow creators. So if they did listen, if anybody out there did listen, it was about subscribing, sharing, commenting, liking. And one of the most important things to help somebody become a YouTube partner is not just her 1,000 subscribers, but we all need 4,000 watch hours per year in order for to become a partner. So if you take one of her videos and watch it all the way through, you will have helped her tremendously. And that's what we do in the group. We today, I think we had the group and somebody needed some likes and we all just jumped on and liked her video because we know what we already actually saw it, but we may not have liked it, so now we just made conscious effort to support one of our members. And that's one of the things we do too. So now what happened besides when you joined the senior tuber, because we're just about to get started on some of the tips for best practices and optimization. What happened when you went from no YouTube videos to putting some out there because, excuse me, because of your meditation, then going from a picture, then to you live, then you started optimizing your channel. Did that make a big difference for you?
Yes, totally. Yeah. And I mean, to be able to look and see there is such a thing as an SEO score on your YouTube videos, and looking at keywords and titles that are the things that are being searched for, and and starting with a strong introduction and those kind of things. So I've actually got a system down for that now, so that I'm keyed in on those things before I even start. And um it's really made a difference. I have high SEO scores.
Yes. Now, so when somebody else listening who doesn't even have a YouTube channel says, I have no idea what SEO is. As Kathy mentioned last week, I didn't know what a channel was, So just so you know, many people did not have this language until they started, and they got the language and they got headaches from learning too much. And then they started applying what they were willing to apply at the time. Whatever you're willing to do or able to do, one thing at a time or all of it. Deborah's the all or nothing kind of person. She's got spreadsheets and all these things working. I told her I want to steal her spreadsheets for everybody else to help with the YouTube. Maybe a YouTube journal we'll do one day for our
that'd be fun.
Visitors, our viewers. But yeah, so that's what point I'm trying to make is because I really want people to show up here. So as we're teaching optimization, and I will eventually do more on optimization, have more available to you. I do have a book coming out, and I do want to have a formal course for you to come to. But in the meantime, we have this. And so I just wanted to share that Debra, once she learned the optimization techniques and the best practices for optimization, again, you're on another, you're on the trajectory to do something bigger each time, every time you learn something new, correct?
Yeah. And I'm kind of feeling a little bit guilty about saying this, because when Fran taught me this piece, I actually I have a virtual assistant, and I set up a meeting with my virtual assistant to meet with Fran, and the three of us met together, and Fran taught her how to do it. And now every time I put out a video, I mean, it's like on my Sundays, I put that out like on the fly, and the next day she goes in and optimizes it, and adds in all the little keywords and the chapters and all that thing to really boost the score on it. And she gets them to 100.
She gets them to 100. Now you're going to have all these people who want to go to Joreen. You're going to have to.
No, hands off. She is mine. So
So that's another thing to say. When you learn how to do YouTube, you don't have to be the one to do it, but you should know, because I have people, some big companies, who have asked me to optimize their YouTube channel. And when they brought it back to their existing YouTube optimization team, they showed them what they weren't doing, and that's why they weren't getting results. So, if you do learn and then you want to pass it on to a virtual assistant, or if you want to bring them into some of these conversations, then just turn it over to somebody. That if you don't have to do it, there are people out there, if you don't want an assistant, there are people out there who will do it on, whenever you need it, on an as needed basis. So, because obviously we just found out Joreen is not available to us.
No.
So thank you for sharing that, because I really want them to hear that and to feel like, we're all a little overwhelmed in the beginning. And, but if you're interested, stay, and the rest will eventually trickle in,
Yeah. And I'll say my next step is Fran so she got me to do live, right? To actually turn on the video. Now I'm actually live streaming into Facebook. And the next step is to live stream also into YouTube. So I'll be live streaming into Facebook, live streaming into YouTube, and, and recording for podcast and so that's coming next.
Fantastic, because you'll be my mentor when it comes to getting me to do live podcasts. Right now I'm doing recorded podcasts because it's just comfortable for me right now while I'm still creating and doing. But one day I'm going to want to get on live and meet everybody personally and talk with them. So that's where you'll come in.
Okay, good.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share about your YouTubing experience, or is that good?
I've grown leaps and bounds in the last, it's it's been like 6 to 8 months that I've actually been working it. And I've grown a lot in that time, maybe 6 months that I've been working it. And Joreen, who has, the dedicated time to spend on it, has been working it for like probably about 4 months. And and I feel like I'm just getting started,
Yeah.
and I'm poised for it to start taking off.
Yeah.
So, and I want to say something else too. Actually, I do want to say something for the people listening, because like I I don't think of myself, especially doing meditations, right? I'm here meditation, doing the deep inner work. I don't consider myself a really charismatic, like Fran called me a leader. I don't really consider myself as that. I am someone who can connect with you in a really deep and intimate, way, and that it's not something that I think of as always is going to be like a super attractor for the masses. And I had to really look at, like, do I want to be a super attractor for the masses? Do I care that every video goes viral? Or do I want to just find the people that are looking for the kind of connection that I'm offering, and want to do the kind of work that I'm putting out, or inviting people into,
Right.
and I have to say, because I've worked with a lot of coaches before over the years, and every one of them would say, you're going to make 8 figures and you're going to have millions of people and blah, blah, blah. And I have to say, there was a part of me that was jumping on that bandwagon, because I got to, like, yes, I want to have a successful business. But there was a part of me that was really like, no, I don't really care about that. I don't think I want that. And it was stopping me. And I had to really sit and be honest with myself about, well, wait, what do you want? Because, sometimes that's really intimidating to think, oh no, I'm going to put a video out there and millions of people are going to see it. You know what I'm saying? You can really be authentically you. You don't have to perform. You don't have to act. You don't have to be what someone else has been to get millions of followers and get millions of views. You can be you and trust that you're going to attract the right people that are looking for what you have to offer, and who are going to, like, really key in on your authenticity and connect with you in that way. And it's going to bring you the right people and the right number of people. And, like, you don't have to worry about getting overwhelmed and intimidated by, like, oh, what if that wasn't perfect? And then it goes viral and millions of people. You know what I'm saying there? I think for me, when I really got honest with myself about that, it took a lot of the pressure off, and I was able to move rather than being frozen.
That is so good. Like actors do not go and do a great movie to win an award. The award is secondary, right? It's nice,
Right.
but they do their best work because that's their art, right? And that's what I would love people to do. So that was really perfectly said, is that this is, first of all, some people don't even want to monetize their YouTube channel. They just want to leave their legacy. They want an opportunity to share, to educate, entertain, infotain, whatever it is they want to do. You're out there to inspire and help transformation. So yeah, so that should be your first foot in, because you have to love what you do and you have to have it in you to put it out there. And then let's see what happens after that. Then we start talking about monetization and how you can, or don't have to, right?
Mhm.
But put yourself out there, the real you. That's why I share that, sometimes I'm out here in my pajama tops making videos or no makeup. And I think,
Mhm.
I'm trying to prove a point that you don't have to have everything perfect, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, because, look at my hair. So, that's perfect. And I'm so
Gorgeous.
glad that you said that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Fran.
Now, is there anything you want to say like that incentivize? Well, first of all, did you get the pushy stuff out of the way? Did you say enough about me being pushy?
Being pushy? Yeah.
I'm pushing
She's
you in
still
that
pushing
area.
me. She's still pushing.
Yeah.
Still pushing. Still pushing.
But that's good, right? You already shared all my
Yes.
pushiness. Okay, good. So I just want to make sure that that cliffhanger, you made sure that was clear. And if they didn't, to go back and listen.
What
And
was the cliffhanger? I already forgot what it was. Did we
something
get it?
about me, about the YouTube channel and put
Oh,
what I push. I think you sort of said it
yeah, yeah,
this
my
time, but without saying
resistance,
the word
right?
pushy.
Yeah, it was my resistance to actually doing my meditation on YouTube
Yeah,
and or actually recording it into the whole progression with a
yeah.
picture with actually my face and then going live. Yeah, that's it.
I have no idea why I'm going to say this, but I guess, because we all have that perfectionism in us. And you've been doing this for years, correct?
Mhm.
And what happened to you this past weekend with your meditation? Did you forget to record it and you were there by
Oh,
yourself?
so thank goodness I had the audio recording, I had the video recording, but I was all I had I had scheduled it to go live on Facebook and I had it all set up and I was proud and then I connected with the audience and welcome and thank you for being here, blah blah blah. I did everything except for push go live on Facebook.
That was so
So I took a
funny.
screenshot of it after the video, and I even did the whole thing about. And for those of you listening on Facebook and blah 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 blah, or watching on Facebook, and the whole blah blah blah. And then afterwards, I shut it down and I look and I'm like, uh-oh, that screen was still there, and I hadn't pushed the go live. I took a screenshot of it and put it on Facebook, and it was like, well, this is what happened to the live stream this week.
I thought that was great. And the reason why I thought it was great is because, like even after years, you still have things happen and you have to roll with them. And just to be
Yeah.
honest with you, Debra went to Switzerland for a couple of weeks and she was on a retreat there. And she asked me to cover for her weekly meditation. Of course, I don't do it. I was just responsible for the tech end of it. And every Sunday morning, I'd wake up and I'd be nervous as hell because it's somebody else's, not mine, to mess up. And
Yeah.
yeah, so one day I did. The second time I did mess up a little bit because I kept playing it over and over again and thinking it wasn't working. But yeah, so that's what happens. And I think that's one of the things I want our group to be is forgiving, like help people
Yeah.
forgive themselves and we forgive and say, okay, yeah, let's just have some fun with that. You could
Yeah.
even make another video about it the next time and say, yeah, did anybody see that or not see it?
As the case may be, right?
Yes. So thank you. I want to make sure that they know they got their cliffhanger handled. And the last thing is, I would like to know what you have to say. And if you don't worry about it. No pressure, but okay, a little pressure. And because I'm
Pushing.
pushy. Yeah. And to give incentive, this is the senior tuber incentive. What do you have that might give incentive for somebody else to take whatever the next step is? It doesn't have to be they show up here. It doesn't have to be here at all. It just has to be, we want to inspire people to bring whatever's inside of them out to make a difference with the family, with the world, whatever they want to do.
Yeah. It we all have something that we've been given that is important. It's important to you and it's important to those around you and it's important to the world. It's kind of like, have you ever watched a movie on TV and maybe there's like a pixel or 2 pixels or 3 pixels on your TV that aren't working and you can see that and you like, you're like, it's almost a distraction on the movie. You're watching this incredible movie go by and there's those few little pixels there that aren't lighting up, that aren't doing their part to contribute to the whole scene, right? And when you think about it, a movie is a frame by frame, and the frames are made of pixels. And sometimes I think of each one of us as like the pixels of light. And we have our little light dance that we do where we flicker on and off and we do our thing. And sometimes we think we're so small that it doesn't make a difference to the world if we don't allow our light to come on and to shine. But it matters. It matters that to the movie. It matters to the frame by frame. It matters to the whole movie. It matters to the whole experience of what we feel and what we um, uh, learn and glean from this incredible life that we're here to live. It matters individually and it matters on the big picture and the totality of the whole movie from beginning to end, if there is a beginning and an end. And so if you have like something that's like flickering on the inside, then by all means, let it be, let it come out. Let it be seen, let it be a part of the bigger picture.
That was incredible. That was really beautifully said. And, some people are afraid or they don't know what to do. And whatever it is, if it's, which one are you going to, conversation are you going to let win? Do you want to be the missing pixel? Or do you want to go into it not knowing what to do and you'll learn? Do you want to get over a fear, or do you want to just dissipate the fear so that you can move forward and be the leader that you were meant to be in any area? So thank you so much for that. I'm so glad you were here. Is there anything else you want to say before I say goodbye?
Just thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
And thank you so much for being here. So thank you, everybody, and have a great week. And I'll see you next week. This is Fran Asaro and Debra Graugnard, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.